War. War never changes.
War never changes. It is. I always try to make Phil laugh while the credits are rolling. And I say goofy things to him. And this time it backfired on me. And usually I'm the straight lady. What's going on, everybody? And Phil's like. And today it backfired on me. But that's okay. Because this is War Never Changes. It's your weekly video game podcast. I am one of the hosts. My name is Jim, a.k.a. Viper Magic. Joined, as always, by the man, the myth, the legend, the traveling beast himself, 50 caliber Phil McCracken. Sir, how are you today?
What's going on, folks? I'm great, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm trying a slightly different camera angle. Phil hates it. I like it. It's primarily because there's a giant mess right over here. And I was like, hey, I have this curved monitor, and all we got to do is rotate the camera. Instead of
your whole life is in that other corner.
You should. There's just a bunch of junk. I got my. What'd you say? My wife?
Your whole life.
Oh, my whole life. I think you said my wife. I'm like, no, Rachel's not in the corner of my room. Sit down. I'm podcasting. Sorry. No. All right, let's start over. No. Yeah. I have all of my. Okay, so I got my drawing desk over here, but I got a new electric pencil sharpener. Mm-hmm. And I'm an idiot. And when it's got this glass thing you push in to sharpen the pencil, wasn't pushed in all the way. So I'm sitting here sharpening pencils like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I posted about my new pencil sharpener on Instagram, and I'm looking at all my new because it really sharpens the lead. For graphite, or I'm sorry, for charcoal, it's so nice. There's like so much sawdust over here. It looks like I'm doing flooring. So I'm like, fuck it.
Jim, show us the sawdust. Come on, we want to see the sawdust.
It's a mess. I'll take a picture of it and I'll insert it in the video at the end. But I really won't, because no one will make it to the end. Except for the Bob. The Bob will make it to the end. And for that, we thank you. All right. So
before we start, I want to ask a question. Normally, I won't interrupt you. But are we getting near episode 52 yet? What episode number is this?
3. I don't know. I could tell you. You ask these tough questions. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it.
We got to be getting to Genesis here pretty quickly, because life ended in March, and then we started doing this in either April or May.
Okay, give me a second. Let me look at my War Never Changes podcast list. Okay, so season 1 ended at episode number 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. I'm still going. 34. So keep in mind 34. Now add. This is the 12th. What's 12 plus 34? I already know the answer, but I'm going to let you struggle.
What's the answer?
46.
It's 46.
46. This is the 46th episode.
So we did take a couple weeks off. So
we missed a few. We went on vacation a few times. We both had ailments or life happen. I almost died for a while. You were on vacation. I think one weekend you had like your tooth removed, or you had some kind of major dental surgery. You've gone on a couple vacations. I have gone on no vacations, but there's been times I just didn't feel like recording. So it's been a pretty consistent, I would say. That's why I say almost weekly. I mean, we're doing pretty good, because the first time we ever started this, episode 1. Oh, I didn't even put dates on episode 1. April, late April, maybe early March.
Yeah, we got six weeks to go, and it'll be our 1-year anniversary.
What are we gonna do?
We should do a giveaway. So Jim's going to take a T-shirt that he's worn a bunch of times that doesn't wear anymore, and
send it to the Bob, because he'll win. The Bob, I hope you're a 2X and a man, because that's what you're going to get from me, unless you want a woman small.
We can send him one of my shirts, and then there will be enough fabric for him to turn it into anything he wants.
Okay, I like it. That's quite the giveaway. Everybody loves Phil's used shirts. I mean, that's what I sleep in.
I don't know. We could autograph something of yours and give it away. I don't have anything interesting to give away. I have like tiki mugs and a computer that doesn't work.
That might be a great giveaway. I'm going to give you my contraband iBuyPower computer.
Hey, Chase, I got my money back, right? Like they can't take it back. No, it's safe with you. Okay, good.
I love it. So we've got an action-packed show that I sent you the show notes. I know you meticulously read them, of course, because you are, this quite the professional. I obviously read them because I wrote them. And we're going to start off today with a kind of a dual topic. Summer Games Fest and E3 returning. So I call this the start of video game season. Video game season really is, I would say, kind of like mid-April-ish through mid-June. We'll say mid-June. And
the fuck makes that video game season?
That's a hell of a video game season. The reason why is because that's when all the new announcements are made. That's when all the big hardware is going to be released. We know at least coming out for the end of the year. Stores start getting... I don't know what the hell's going on.
You said big hardware. Come on.
Oh, I missed... Okay, I didn't hear big... I knew hardware. I wasn't thinking... I didn't know I said big hardware. And I was thinking hardware. Okay, big hardware. Because I saw your big head. I'm like, what does Phil's big head have to do with hardware? That's a bit... Yeah, okay. The way we're framed right now, my whole body is like this frame, and that's your head. And in reality, Phil's head is about the size of my belly button. That's good. He's a big man. I've actually seen him in person like 4 times in my life, despite the fact I talk to him every day.
Here's a standard hotel phone.
Oh, thank you. And look how he palms it like a golf ball. And this right here, this is a basketball. Okay, anyways. So...
here's a coffee maker.
Oh, now it's show and tell. Thank you. Very nice. Okay. I feel better now. Video game season, Phil, is starting, according to me. We're going to be getting all the announcements. We're going to be getting all the news on pre-orders. We're going to find out kind of how the stores stock for the rest of the year, what to expect, all that wonderful stuff. Last year, we had no E3. Recall E3 was canceled. That's when COVID started to really ramp up. I believe the last big conference we had, video game, I wouldn't say centric, it was PAX East back in March of 2020. And that's when COVID was just starting. Sony pulled out of it. Other companies were like, I don't know if we should do it. They still held on to it. They still did it. But we had no E3. We had that kind of bonkers Summer Games Fest. But now here we are a year later. We're ready to go.
I don't need to hear Jeff Keighley's voice every Wednesday for 6 months. I just don't.
Well, good news. He has announced it will be a 1-month event. So you don't have to tune in like this asshole did every single week for dopey announcements. Like, he started off on a bang. If you remember, he started off with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which I lost my mind over. After that, it went downhill.
Jim heard this. He's like, oh, man, I needed this. COVID's not going to suck so much. We have video games, and then nothing.
We had a demo for a game engine for Unreal Engine 5, which wasn't even a real game. We had a demo look at that MMO for your phone, Wild Rift, that Battle Royale mode for League of Legends, Wild Rift or something like that. That was on your phone. And then we had, I think, a deep dive into like a sound engine or something. It turned out very bizarre. Remember, we had a lot of these really dopey conferences, like people who dress like cats and eat bananas, the conference. And like all these really weird, very specific indie game conferences. Double Fine did a conference. Microsoft did some really bad stuff. And then it was the state of play. It was the state of play that changed everything. We saw the box, we saw the price, we saw the games, and we all fell in love with PlayStation 5. So,
and now it sits there untouched.
Well, for you maybe. For me, yeah. I mean, I don't play it as much as I should. But Yeah, so here we are now on the cusp of video game season. What now? What'd you say?
There's only 3 games for it.
But they were good. They're good games. Spider-Man I never played. Demon Souls I haven't beat. And Valhalla I beat. I don't know why, and I'll never play it again. Despite I got all the DLC, I'll never touch that game again as long as I live. It's like 400 hours to get through the story, which wasn't that great.
All right, so I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. No, but well, here's my point. I mean, you kind of took me on a tangent, but in a good way. Here's my point. Last year, I think we can collectively agree that Phil's bug eyes would agree. I don't know about Phil. Dr. Phil would agree. That's a good handle for next week. Okay.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Hey there. And I'm going to Photoshop.
No episode of War Never Changes.
I'm going to Photoshop your head so you're bald. I could do it. Okay. Anyways.
I will not participate in this.
Well, the fact that you're on a Skype call with me, young man, you've participated plenty. So, yeah, here's my point. E3 comes out. Summer Games Fest comes out. What do we expect this year? Are we going to be excited? Like, do we care? What are we looking for? Can they redeem themselves in a full virtual world, or are we doomed until next year?
I know, first and foremost, there's 2 things that I want more details on.
Okay.
I want God of War Ragnarok details.
Yeah.
And I want Halo.
Yes, we need Halo news, right? I agree.
Yes. I want to hear, hey, we threw that whole engine out, like the whole thing. It's dead. We lit it on fire. Don't worry about it. We created a brand new one. And in June of 2022, you're going to have the best Halo game ever. And Jim will cry, and it'll be fine.
All right, so okay. So for you then, see, I've always had a different take on E3, but I think I'm going to piggyback on your idea, and I like this. I have always been a fan of just the video game. Clearly, it's my life, it's my shirt, it's the walls behind me, it's all I do. So when they announce these indie games, when they announce games for Game Pass and these lesser titles, I'm still excited because I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of video games and I want to be, I don't care. It's something new to the medium. I probably got a lot more excited for Returnal than most people. Half the people probably know what the hell Returnal is. I can't wait to get this game. So I think I'm with you this year, and I think this has to be the blockbuster year. I think we need to see some major home runs. I think if Jeff Keighley's going to do Summer Games Fest, you better pick, if you're going to do it weekly, you better pick 4 games or 4 things about games that blow our minds. Don't waste our time with graphics engines. Don't waste our time with a deep dive of the DualSense controller. Remember that one where he did the DualSense controller and he just held it up? Do you remember that? He's like, hey, look, guys, this right here is a controller. And if you press this button, that's a button. DualSense. And then I'll take any questions you have over the DualSense. And people are like, how does it feel? And he's like, feels like a controller. I'm like, are we really? This is as low as we've come. I mean, that was the dark era of gaming. I mean, it's a dark era for the world, but really for gaming. So, not picking on Jeff Keighley, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. Very much like the show, but no, the truth is, all kidding aside, the truth is, I mean, don't you think, like, I'm with you. I think we need some home runs. You need to bring out, you want to fill it with lower stuff, that's fine, but your conference better end with a holy crap moment or else.
Yeah. I don't need to hear about Bugsnax 2 Reloaded. I don't need to hear about Volcano High Dinosaur School.
Whatever happened to Volcano High?
Hopefully it died. I don't know.
Let me look. Would you say it's extinct? I gotta look it up now. Volcano High game.
I hate you so much.
I hate you too. It was called Goodbye Volcano High, and it's coming out. It was announced on June 11th of 2020. Supposed to come out release date 2021, date unknown. So, listen here, dude.
This piece of garbage isn't even out there
You
yet?
just jinxed us. I guarantee you at E3, Sony's going to be like, Okay, we got one more game. It's the Goodbye Volcano High Collector Edition. Limited edition console. Your console looks like a teenage emo T-Rex. Pre-order now. I just see it. And I'm going to be like, damn it, Phil. Like, I knew some Sony exec who listens to this show every week is like, that's a really good idea. Guys, get in here. Rewind that. Listen to what he said.
Hideo Yoshida is just on here like, yeah. I love these guys.
It's a great idea. Prince money. Yeah, so I'm with you. I think we need to have some big hits for sure. I think that Nintendo in particular really needs to step it up. It has been a really long year for Nintendo. I know we want Breath of the Wild 2. I really want Metroid. I've been saying this now for as long as I live.
Not going to get Metroid.
I hope so, man.
There aren't enough people that care about it, Jim.
I'll buy enough. Listen, Nintendo, you tell me how many of these damn games I need to buy. I got a big, big house. I will fill up a back room of copies if I could have one of them.
The Florida room, it's just Metroid. It's the Metroid room now.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great giveaway. You know, subscribe to the channel. We will mail you a copy of Metroid Prime 4. Because I don't know, man. You're right. It was a rough year last year. We understand why. Gaming was starting to gather. You know, trying to figure out its foothold in the virtual space. I think it's done that now. The last few state of plays, the last few Xbox press conferences, news shows, they've been pretty good. I mean, in terms of quality, audio quality. Content, pacing, they've figured it out. I think the world's figured it out. So there's a chance, right? I mean, there's a chance it's going to be good. That is the biggest. Well,
I'd get your hopes that are like up here. I'd bring them down just a little bit.
All right. Well, you know, I'm curious, really. I think Jeff Keighley's going to figure it out because he does okay. E3 is the one I'm really worried about. They seem to really struggle with what the hell they want to do. I mean, the charm of E3 was them coordinating the physical space where everybody showed up. E3 doesn't have to coordinate anything because it's all online. I don't really know what that organization looks like or that presentation looks like. I just hope that...
just one guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Some guy's like, yeah, I'll make a new web page, file new. I'll make a Google Share Drive. I'll call it E3. All right, everybody, come on in. Show us your games. Like, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it'll be a partnership with Jeff Keighley after all. Maybe he's going to just do his own thing. We don't know. Nobody knows. But, I mean... just show us stuff that doesn't suck. We understand games are going to be delayed. We understand games aren't going to look good yet, whatever. But I just hope that now that we're slowly getting back to a more normal state in the world, not quite there yet, I'm hoping that our E3 follows suit, at least a little bit.
So you don't want stuff that sucks being shown?
I would be perfectly content with E3 this year if Sony said, okay, our normal 1 hour press conference, which we fill with little indie games and little zingers and whatever, we got 2 announcements. One is a major upgrade for the console. We have two branches of announcements. We had 2 physical announcements. Here's all the stuff we're doing with our hardware. Maybe we're including the back button attachment on the DualSense 5. We're going to allow you to change your UI. We're going to allow you to use the memory slot to upgrade your PlayStation hardware storage. And then part 2 of the conference, here's 2 really good first-party games we're working on. Maybe it's God of War, maybe it's State of Decay, or not State of Decay, Days Gone 2, I don't know, something like that. But major hits that everybody's going to lose their mind over. It's 10-minute press conference, we're done. You want to find out about indie games? Go find out about them on our blog. Goodbye.
Okay, that was a really long wind-up to this joke, but if you don't want stuff that sucks shown, you better turn your webcam off.
Wow. I could do that. Here.
Apparently you don't know how to turn your webcam off.
Oh, no, I did. You didn't see it. I did on the OBS stream. If I turn my webcam off, here's what will happen. The call will disconnect. the audio will get all screwed up, and I'll spend 45 minutes supporting a dopey joke instead of just fading out in the little OBS screen while you're still looking at me and nothing has changed. Yeah, I'm really to the point now. I think I'm with you. I think this year in particular, mix up the formula. You want to do a separate little indie showcase later, that's fine. Do a major wow home run hit. That's it. 5-10 minutes. Blow our minds away. Blow the doors off. We're done.
I was going to say don't do an indie game showcase, but then I thought, Fall Guys, Among Us, yeah.
See? There's a place for it. I think I'm with you. I mean, is that... Now, I know...
There's a place for it. It's the $5 bin at Walmart.
You know as well as I do that Xbox with Game Pass is greenlighting every game under the sun. You know they're going to do the little sizzler reel where it's like some really cool upbeat techno music where they're showing like 5 seconds of like 70 games in a row. Yeah, and it's all these weird games. You won't even know what the hell's going on. There'll be no context. It'll probably have some weird indie game in there that doesn't make any sense. If people are like, wait, is that an elephant? Oh, too late. We'll go to the next scene. Like, you know it's going to be bonkers. I think if I'm Sony, I say, you know what? Xbox, you have that space. We've got some major home runs. Here's our God of War themed PlayStation 5. Here's our really cool game to go with it. Bye. That would be cool. I don't think they're going to do it. They obviously want to get all these indies in and the best place to play, all that crap. But yeah, I think this year in particular we need a win. I just say that. I think as gaming we need a game we can all champion behind, and I haven't seen it yet.
I agree wholeheartedly.
That isn't Call of Duty. Just kidding.
What's the next topic, Jim?
Moving on, Phil. Whoa, moving on, Phil. What kind of show did this just become? All right, I got a couple little zingers for you. It was a light news week, okay? Did you ever play Star Wars Republic Commando? I knew you were going to say no. I was so hoping you would say, why, yes, I did. I got a tattoo. No, okay. So Star Wars Republic Commando was a phenomenal first-person shooter that is, for whatever weird-ass reason, is going to be ported over to Nintendo Switch amongst other consoles. Okay. You would think a game that came out like 50 years ago would run smashingly on the Nintendo Switch, but sir, you would be wrong. That game runs. The actual show note I said is runs like ass because I saw this news and I was really excited for it.
Dude,
and
you know why playing Skyrim on the Switch was great? Because there wasn't enough processing power on the Switch to actually power the bugs, so it was the smoothest Skyrim experience I've ever had. There's literally a gerbil on a wheel powering the Switch. Why are you surprised that it consistently falls short of your expectations?
It just constantly, because it's such a cool form factor. I got the neon one, so I got the nice, bright, vibrant blue and the nice, vibrant orange. It's pretty looking. It's beautiful screen. I got the controller to go with it. And I turn it on and I'm just constantly disappointed by every game. Not if it's a Nintendo game with the exception of a couple, it runs really well. Mario Odyssey runs phenomenal. Super Mario Maker 2 runs phenomenal. A couple other ones. But yeah, like this, I was so excited for this because I was like, wow, like I would totally buy this game just based on nostalgia. And then I saw some of the screen record, like the game capture of it, and I was like, oh, why? Like, I had a computer that was like 20 years ago that ran this game at like 90 frames a second. And I'm talking those computers with the big-ass monitors that were like 15 feet deep. And it was like, that thing, it looked like, it was like you were looking into a window into the Star Wars universe. This game, it's like running at like 18 frames a second. The sound's flaking out. Everything just looks bad and it's just depressing. And I'm like, why can't we get this right?
It's pushing the Switch to its max.
It is, and that's the thing. Like all these games are, and I keep hearing about this fabled Switch 2. We've talked about it on here numerous times, the Switch 2. But I don't know, man. I'm just like, if I'm Nintendo at this point, you got to start over. You got to just say, you know what? Like, we're going to make a new console that's on par with the graphics of, like, an Xbox and a PlayStation. We don't know where the hell we're going to get the silicon to actually make this thing, but this is what we want.
Send us in your old Switches. We'll take the silicon out of those, put it in the new ones.
That's right.
The old bait and switch.
It's like, do you remember the old Sega systems where you would plug these giant boxes into the, like, you had the 32X module which plugged into the Genesis, and then you had like a 64X which plugged into the 32. I feel like the new Switch unit is going to be, you put your old Switch in the unit and it powers up, like another screen comes down over the top or something. This thing's going to be like a Rube Goldberg, like, monster machine. I don't know. Here's all I know, man. Like, I'm just so frustrated by Nintendo. Like, I love them to death. I love this Mario 35. We're going to talk about the next thing I'm going to talk about. It's a big Nintendo game I'm super excited for. But for every one of those really cool announcements, you get 99 of these games that come out that suck ass.
Yeah, like Tetris 99 or Pac-Man 99.
Why I use the number 99? Because that's the next news story. And that is that Pac-Man 99 is coming out tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I am so excited. The next story is... He didn't like that one, folks. Okay. Time out, man. What is your problem? Why don't you like Pac-Man 99? This is such a cool idea.
I have no opinion on it whatsoever.
Okay, very good. Well, here, let me just fix that. And Phil's gone. No. Listen.
There's a trash can where his face used to be.
Listen, I like the fact that they're taking classic formulas like Mario, like Tetris, like Pac-Man, giving them a new coat of paint and making them competitive. Some people don't like the competitive stuff. I just want to play like a chill round of Tetris, although there's nothing chill about Tetris when you start getting into the higher levels. But, some people may just look at that and say, well, Pac-Man's a dated thing. Nobody cares about it. Okay, that's fair. But...
Not true.
Well, that's
what
I'm saying.
You know what? I'm sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This is the first time you've talked in like 6 minutes. I want to hear every goddamn word you have to say.
It would have been so much fun if playing with friends didn't involve, when we were growing up, there wasn't really a whole lot of opportunity to play with friends unless they were in the same room as you. So the idea of going back to Pac-Man, which is an awesome game, I do like the game Pac-Man, and not having to go to some sketchy arcade or deal with some sketchy 32-bit operating system to play it and be able to play it with friends does sound amusing to me. But then I think about like playing Pac-Man against 98 tryhards who are investing that much into Pac-Man. It's like such a turnoff to me. It's not even funny. And that's my thought on it. I have no interest in Tetris 99. I have no interest in Pac-Man 99. Anything with a 9 and then another 9 after it, no, thank you.
Okay. So I think where this game really is interesting to me, obviously growing up playing old sketchy arcade games like you mentioned, playing a lot of Pac-Man when I was younger. It seems like they've taken the formula of Pac-Man, adding in this competitive element, and then adding in all these cool customizations. Like, Pac-Man doesn't look like Pac-Man anymore. You can make him look like other famous Bandai Namco games. You could I don't know if you ever played Rally X. You probably have no idea what the hell Rally X is. I'm really showing my age here because I played the hell out of some Rally X. You could totally.
I played Pole Position.
Okay, Pole Position was like the sequel to Rally X. Rally X was like a top-down view of a racing game. Pole Position, you were kind of like behind the car, third person. Even Pole Position. Imagine Pac-Man turning into a little Formula One car, and the ghosts turn into, I don't know, like little checkered flags or something. Whatever. The sound effects are different. The pellets aren't pellets; they're gas cans. That kind of thing. Like, these are the add-ons you could buy to make the game different. It's still at its core, it's Pac-Man, but it's stupid stuff like this. You add in the competitive element, you add in this little bit of customization. People like me are like, "Hey, Pac-Man's in again." Does that light bother you? Is that what's going on? Are you that bored you're flipping the light?
No, it's like if you're gonna make it not look like Pac-Man, why are you playing Pac-Man? They're like, hey, we can sell you all these DLC packs. Like, it's just like, oh, so you're just monetizing my nostalgia now. So,
Oh yeah,
so
oh yeah.
in typical fucking Nintendo fashion, hey, you know all those good memories you had as a child?
$60.
We're gonna charge you.
So it is free to play, but if you want to have the cool stuff, it's a $30 price point, and I'll probably buy it.
Yeah, you will. You and anyone else that actually wants to play it will be buying it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will be playing the hell out of it tonight. I don't know, right at 9 o'clock. I suspect the servers are going to suck. Clearly, it's run on the Nintendo Switch Online platform, which isn't all that great. So if you want to play with me, I could give you my 97-digit alphanumeric friend code, and I'll have to plug these headphones into like 40 things so that we could talk, but there is a way. I don't know. I like it. I don't know if it's one of those games you sit and play for hours, but I feel like you add it to the rotation. I feel like it's something you're like, hey, you know what? I got 20 minutes to kill. Let's throw it on some Pac-Man 99.
This is playing games online with Jim. Total silence.
Here we go.
Jim saying something awful. Jim laughing at his own joke while no one else laughs. Then Jim saying, hey, fuck you guys. That was funny. More dead silence. Jim like, hey, I got this over here. Jim making shitty comments and laughing to himself. It's just basically that. So if that's what you want.
Hey, I'm sorry that I want to, I like to talk in case you didn't know. We got to fill in this dead air. So if we're playing Warzone near airport, let's just say, Phil's favorite place in the whole world, airport, let's just crouch and stare at the door for 45 minutes and not talk at all. That's no fun. I mean, I usually alt tab. Sometimes you're like, why'd you shoot? I'm like, oh, because I alt tab back in the game. And like when I clicked on the window, I shot my gun. I'm keeping the party going, baby.
The amount of times I get the shit scared out of me because you come back from being AFK, it's at least an average of once per round.
Well, you know what? In Pac-Man 99, there's no time to waste because
we haven't other than last night's final stand in the tower.
Okay.
We haven't posted up anywhere in a while. We've been really mobile, and we haven't won around in a long time. So the patient strategy may be boring, but it
does bear fruit. Yes, it's you could totally if you do nothing and sit in a house, there's a really good chance most people will die, and you'll just sit in the house. The truth is, the only kill that matters is the last kill. If you want to get that sweet cutscene with my long flowing blonde hair and my glow sticks as we fly away with usually Captain Price and Ghost, or that's usually what you guys play. I'm the blonde girl, I'm Park, rocking out my big perm, my cool pink jacket. If that's what you want, you just want to sit and look at that. I mean, I'm sure we can make it happen. But there is something fun about busting through a door fully geared and just getting destroyed.
Oh, dude, when those guys came up the tower and they had to go through the process of getting off the cable and we're just annihilating them. That was the most.
Is they get the little clip in their hand? Yeah, they're like,
because that they're so mad. They're screaming at the television.
Yeah, and I think we just kept shooting even after they died. I think I had like a 100-rounder and I just laid it in the wall because I'm like, well, yeah, and it was great. And then we parachuted down and instantly died.
Yeah, because Will sucks at callouts. Will, if you're watching this, don't say I killed the guy by the crane if there's still a guy by the crane.
So we're going to be working on the next few weeks, figuring out a way to get Will on here because I want to address this horrific exchange that you guys had at some point where...
Oh, dude, you prompted that. You started it. And then this is what Jim does. He'll put in like a little dig, and then he mutes his mic or disappears or whatever, and just lets chaos ensue.
I press...
And then comes back at the end like, I don't know what happened, but you guys need to just calm down. Fuck you, Jim.
Yeah, I do. I have a mute button on my microphone, so I'm like, hey, you guys are big pieces of shit. Good times. Well, either way, we're gonna try to get Will on at some point in the future to defend himself. I don't know if the guy has a webcam or not, but we'll just get like a cool little logo of him in the corner. All right.
Can his GPU handle this?
I think I can manage you two clowns. What I will do though is I'll change the layout so that I'm physically in the middle of you two so that I could do this. All right,
Just change the camera to side.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yes, yes. We can turn our heads as we're talking. We'll do stereo, like left ear, right ear, and I'll be in the middle or something. All right, two last pieces of news for one piece of news and then one question, which I did not put in the show notes, which I want to get your opinion on, and then we'll wrap up a little early today. NVIDIA is supposedly remaking the 1080 Ti. Now, I know you're probably thinking, dude, that is an old ass graphics card. And it is, but it's still a workhorse. And a 1080 Ti running in SLI mode, which means two of them together running like the top hat. Well, they do SLI, so it's like every other line. Is actually pretty powerful, and a lot of people still run that configuration. A 1080 is not a bad card. It really is not. I have a 2080, which is only one generation up, and I have a lot of headroom. So I could see dropping down to a 1080 is still a very viable solution. As somebody who is recently out in of the PC market, does this do anything for you?
Absolutely not.
So you're 3080 or bust?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting to me that NVIDIA would go back to 1080. I think there's a lot of reasons behind that. It's a simpler design. It doesn't require as much silicon. And there's still a big demand for graphics cards. And I think that they probably have figured out we could make a like 1050 and mass produce these and people will buy them because they want something so bad.
Yeah. Miners will probably grab them.
Potentially, yeah, and that's going to be the biggest struggle they have is that they constantly have to reinvent their graphics cards to prevent that kind of data mining stuff because people buy them and then never play games with them. NVIDIA probably doesn't care, honestly. They're making sales. They don't care what.
Yeah, why would they care what you use it for?
The gamers care, and then obviously as people realize you can't get an NVIDIA and maybe the RX, I think it's 700. I don't know what an ATI calls their specs, but they're not as good as mining, but they're not half bad graphics cards, or they're within 10%. Hey, you know what? Maybe you're not going to get a 3080, but you know what? You're going to get a gaming computer.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm down for Radeon at this point. Like, I would convert. I don't really have an allegiance one way or the other. I would go AMD or NVIDIA at this point.
Well, with the latest Intel card coming out, it's interesting because or the new i11 or what you had the name for it last week, Sandy Bridge, or what did you call it, River Lake. They always have these goofy names for their Intel, the CPU.
Please repeat that question. I just got a very important email. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's okay. The name of the new Intel CPU, it's called like Rock Lake. Yeah, they always have a weird name for it.
Yeah, that's the naming convention is Lake.
Okay. So you have that coming out. It's not doing that well. NVIDIA saying, hey, we're going to start releasing some old cards because we can't keep the new ones on shelves. Might be a good time to be an AMD guy. You might say, you know what? Screw you guys. I can get an AMD right now. I can get a Radeon, whatever the hell it is, on Amazon for $400 delivered tomorrow. I may be able to pick up one of these graphics cards and let's hit the road. Who cares?
But what was Intel thinking? Like they killed cores from their process. They killed cores from their processor to try to boost yes, an albeit semi-important core function. But you take cores and threads away, and you're like, hey, this is the new thing. And meanwhile, AMD's got their Ryzen, like not the 5 series, the 7 series. 7 series, the Ryzen 7 series 5800 beats the top end Rocket Lake in basically every computing function that would be important to a gamer or a miner.
Yeah.
There's a YouTuber that Jim turned me on to, and he runs like a side-by-side test, and some of the margin of defeat between the brand new Rocket Lake and this like 4 or 5 year old technology, that's not even AMD's like top of the line CPU. Their top of the line CPU is called the Threadripper, and this is like 2 steps down from that. I don't know That's not a fair comparison. So Threadripper competes with the X series in Intel, and they're two big monsters or whatever. But like, it's 9 versus 9 with Intel i9 and Ryzen 9, and this isn't even a 9 series processor, and it kicks its ass. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing with that, but Intel sucks. Intel, well,
Whoa!
that was a sucky decision. Intel doesn't suck. Their decision-making process on that product sucks.
Intel has been really resting on their laurels for a long time, while AMD has been redefining their architecture and changing how their central processing works. As a result of that, AMD's finally figured out the secret formula. Intel has nowhere else to go. They just keep making smaller and smaller and smaller, but they've run out of room. There's really nothing left to do at this point. So they're going to have to give some serious thought to what they want to do. NVIDIA, not really directly related to IBM or Intel per se, NVIDIA is still doing well, but typically Intel and NVIDIA are hand in hand, typically. So when Intel kind of shits the bed, NVIDIA is going to suffer because people are going to go an all AMD solution because they're cheaper and because it's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize this other company existed. So NVIDIA going back to a 1080 again, if this is true, which it really seems to be based on everything I've been reading, I think it signifies that they are struggling too. And I'd be very curious in the next few years how the graphics card market shakes out, because this is a really big deal.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and I don't have even 10% of the depth of knowledge as far as gaming PC and this architecture stuff and like AMD and Intel and stuff. I don't have even 10% of the knowledge and background that you have. But as I'm getting into things and I'm studying and learning things for myself, you've probably noticed that I've picked up a little bit of the lingo and I can have a semi-coherent conversation about it as of late, whereas 4 weeks ago I could not. Yeah, a lot of the threads that I'm reading, people are saying that exact same thing, is that Intel has been resting on their laurels and they refuse to address the big orange monster that is AMD that's now standing, you know, not below their shoulder, but now standing over their shoulder. And I don't think they have a solution for it. And I don't, you know, if we were to sit and do a side-by-side comparison of their super high-end like X Unlock series versus Threadripper, AMD's Threadripper for basically all intents and purposes shits all over anything Intel has to offer. So as far as super high-end central processing units, Intel's not even in the game right now. We're talking like just basic level, you know, gaming stuff.
Right.
But, you know, as far as computing power and workstations go, that have to do like complex processes, AMD is actually the leader in that market right now. So they're taking their success there and translating it down instead of Intel just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, no, well said. And I understand why they're making. I really understand why NVIDIA is doing what they're doing, just because there's a supply shortage right now. But I think it does paint a bigger picture. And you're 100% right in what you said. You know, I know your iBuyPower experience wasn't that great. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because maybe you look at it again and say, maybe Intel isn't for me. Maybe I'm an AMD guy. I don't know. You have to see what's available as the time comes when you're ready to start, you know, locking up parts again.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll see you at the finish line, because I got an Intel i7 and that shit just screams amazing. All right. Last question. It comes from my phone today, because I was looking online today, as I do for ideas on the show, and I got this really cool post on Reset Era. I know I'm banned from there, but
I was going to say, aren't you banned?
I can't log in. I have to stay logged out. If I log in, it says I can't do anything. So I like come in with like the fake mustache and the glasses, and I'm like, what's everybody doing here?
My name's Tim Rafantis.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's me, Tim Rafantis here, world famous YouTuber. All right, here is the question. I thought this was a really good question, and I pose it to you. And you didn't get to hear this beforehand, because I wanted to get your genuine reaction. The question is, Kratos, you know Kratos, right, from God of War. Mm-hmm. Kratos is after your life, and you have an option to hire one video game character to stop him by either killing him or persuading him. Who do you choose and why?
Yeah.
and I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I read this and I'll tell you my thought process, but I want to hear yours first. Dead air, 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 dead air.
My immediate
yes.
My immediate thought kind of went to like a superhero, but this dude kills gods. So
right?
I'm thinking as far as video game character, I'd probably have to say Goku because you can't kill Goku. If you kill him, he just comes back and he keeps coming back until you're dead. So
okay,
I would say Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That's who I would pick.
So that's a good choice. So you went with the route of you want somebody to basically be your defender. So it's like, well, I can't get Kratos to stop, so I'm going to have to obviously like fight him with another person. So if I was going that approach, my first thought, of course, is Master Chief because I'm like, Master Chief is a tough son of a bitch. Dude, he's a tough guy.
Dude, Kratos kills gods.
I know. So here, you're right. And I thought about this, but it's the Master Chief. The guy's pretty tough. I mean, he single-handedly destroyed like an entire alien race, okay?
No.
And he respawns.
No. Kratos kills the gods that make the races, Jim.
He respawns. Okay. Then, here's two other ideas I had. What about the boy? For the persuade aspect.
Kratos doesn't listen to the boy. He never listens
Dad,
to him.
stop! Boy.
You may as well hire that head that hangs on his belt loop.
I was going to say then Mimir could potentially be. You hold Mimir out, and Mimir's like, Kratos, stop. Whatever, however Mimir talks. Okay. A lot of people, the number one response was actually Kirby. People thought Kirby would just eat Kratos and it'd be over. And I'm like, that's actually not a really bad idea because Kirby just...
until Kratos' axe comes out the top of Kirby's head.
My thought was, who I ultimately settled on actually will probably surprise you. I thought, what video game character has the strength and the cunning to potentially try to talk Kratos off a ledge, but then also, should push come to shove, would be a decent adversary for Kratos. And I came up with Eivor. Female Eivor, of course. But you could be the male if you want. I think that's a really good answer.
It's not.
No,
that's such a stupid answer. Oh my God.
Why is my answer stupid? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Opinionated.
Eivor is just a person, Jim.
No, you didn't beat the game. You don't know who Eivor is. You're wrong. Eivor is...
That's a fair point.
You're wrong. I don't want to spoil it, but you are wrong. Eivor is not just a person. Eivor is a very important person. And not only that, spoilers aside, Eivor pretty much solved every single problem in the game by himself, right? So you got a chance. There's a chance Eivor's like, yo, dude, slow down. And Kratos is like, and then they talk it out. Or Kratos respects the strength. They fight, and Kratos is like, hey, you're a tough person. I'll back off.
No. I mean, it's not like the last Norse guy that got in Kratos' face got fucking wrecked.
I mean, yeah.
There's only a whole game about it.
There's only a whole game. Yeah, so I just thought that was an interesting kind of lighthearted thing to end the show on. But, okay, I think Goku's a good answer. I mean, I think most people will gravitate towards a physical confrontation. I was just trying to think outside the box of a smooth talker that had a chance. And when I think smooth...
Kratos is such a single-minded asshole, though.
He is.
I don't know that he could be reasoned with. I'm of the opinion that unless you're more powerful than him, if Kratos wants you dead, your fate is sealed.
Pretty much Kratos has, including his poor family, Kratos has pretty much destroyed everything that he wants to. Ooh.
This is almost as bad as that thermometer meme you sent
Oh
me
my
the other night.
God, the hand was all the way in that poor child. I mean, up to the damn.
Jim, stop.
I didn't show the meme. I'm just saying.
Man, listen, I was sent this without any say in the matter. I had nothing to do with this. This is Jim sending things to me. I was offended deeply by
Your
it.
Honor, I was offended. I do not stand with that. All right. So that's it for this week, folks. Little light on the content, a lot of fun on the laughs. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, Phil will have prepared some show notes, breaking that cycle of he was really good with show notes and then nothing. Now he's not even reading show notes. So let's just try to get him to read. Everyone, I want you to channel the Bob. I want you to channel your energy. We want Phil to read what I email him next week. That's the plan. If he doesn't, that's okay.
Okay, folks. Well, this is the part where I say my little send off, and Jim finally stops talking. So much like Eivor, especially female Eivor, could never fucking beat Kratos in a verbal confrontation or a physical confrontation. War also never changes. See you next week.